I wanna hear the one about the big old plum tree. I wanna hear the one about the giggly bumblebee. I wanna hear the one about the juggly jumping flea. That's the story that I wanna hear. That's the story, that's the story, that's the story that I wanna hear. That's the story, that's the story, that's the story that I wanna hear.
Hello, kia ora, g'day, I'm Ronnie, and this is That's the Story. This week, someone goes to school for the first time. We meet Gordon the gnome. We have a garage sale. We have a song about, well, you'll find out. But first, let's have a story.
Bobby didn't want to go to school, but Bertie did. Bertie was Bobby's best friend. They did everything together, went everywhere together, spent all their time together. Bobby didn't really like school. He was good at maths, but he didn't really like to do sums. He was good at reading, but he didn't really like books. He was good at fitness, but he didn't really like sports. He was good at language, but he didn't really like writing. Bobby really didn't want to go to school today. He'd done his reading homework and practiced his spelling words, but he still didn't want to go. He lay under the duvet and tried to pretend it was still the weekend and he wouldn't have to go. But his mum came and told him to get up and get ready. Bertie was already up and ready and rearing to go. Bobby dragged himself out of bed and scraped himself into his uniform. He ran a comb through his hair and headed downstairs for breakfast. He drank his Milo and ate his toast and then brushed his teeth and washed his face. And all the while, Bertie waited for him. Bertie loved school. He loved running around the playing field before the bell rang for class to start. He wasn't very good at maths. He didn't really understand what all the numbers were about, but he still loved it. He loved playtime and checking out what other people had bought for play lunch. Bertie wasn't a very good reader either. He didn't really understand what all the squiggles on the page were, but he loved listening to the teacher tell all kinds of wonderful stories of adventure and excitement. Bertie loved lunchtime because sometimes the other kids didn't always eat all their lunch, and so there were spare sandwiches or leftover apples which he could help himself to. Bertie thought school was great, and he didn't understand why Bobby didn't want to go every day, even on weekends. But Bertie was a boxer dog, so maybe school was different for him.
The That's the Story YouTube channel has got stories. The That's the Story YouTube channel has got cartoons. It has songs, it has silliness, and it has brand new content being uploaded every single week. So do pop along. That's the Story YouTube channel. It's lots of fun. Now let's have a story.
Gordon, snorted Gordon. Gordon, sneered Gordon. Gordon, sighed Gordon. Mr. Buxton happened to overhear this rather strange, well, it wasn't a conversation, but he did overhear Gordon saying Gordon to himself several times. He was outside Gordon's home, so he coughed loudly a couple of times to let Gordon know he was there. "Who's that? What you want?" said Gordon, rushing out of the front door and looking around. It's me," said Mr. Buxton. "Mr. Buxton," said Gordon, nodding his head. "Now that name suits you." Thanks, but why were you just saying Gordon to yourself over and over?" asked Mr. Buxton. "You have a name that suits you, but I can't help thinking I could do better," said Gordon. Better?" said Mr. Buxton. "Yeah, my brother Gary with 2 R's. He seems to have a better name than Gordon. Maybe I could call myself Gary with 2 R's. "Yes, but how would your mum tell you two apart when she was calling out to you?" asked Mr. Buxton. "Yeah, true," muttered Gordon. "My niece Genevieve has a nice name, quite exotic it sounds, Yeah, Genevieve is, without exception, in every circumstance, a girl's name, and you're not a girl known, Gordon." "Blather raps," grunted Gordon. "All right, I'll go right outside the box on this one. Henry. I've always thought Henry had a ring to it." Don't all gnome names have to start with G?" asked Mr. Buxton. "Yes," snapped Gordon. "So, Henry?" prompted Mr. Buxton. "Henry starts with G," growled Gordon. "Are you sure? Because..." stammered Mr. Buxton. "A silent G. A silent, unwritten G," muttered Gordon grimly. "I've never heard of a silent, unwritten..." began Mr. Buxton. All right, yelled Gordon. "All this thinking's giving me a headache. What do you suggest then?" "How about Gordon? That has an air to it," said Mr. Buxton. Gordon chewed on the end of his beard. "Gordon, very powerful name, strong, proud. I like it. Yeah, brilliant idea of mine. From now on, I shall be known as Gordon." And with almost no fuss at all, so he was.
So, we play this game every week. You should be used to it by now. It's called Who Am I? I give you some clues. From those clues, I want you to try and guess who it is, someone in history, that I'm talking about. You can use Google if you want to. You can work in pairs. You can work in teams. Have a discussion as a whole classroom if you like. Just try and guess who it is that we're talking about. Here come those clues. Listen carefully. Take some notes if you want. Here we go.
What's his name? What's she called? I think I know who that is. Who could it be? Let's wait and see what the clues are to this quiz.
This man was a playwright, journalist, public speaker, arts reviewer, and a campaigning socialist. He never actually liked his first name and used just his last two. He was a committed vegetarian, a socialist, an opponent of the First World War. Despite nearly dying from smallpox, he joined a public campaign in opposition to vaccination against smallpox. He once helped T.E. Lawrence with his book, The Seven Pillars of Wisdom. He was a keen amateur photographer. He is the only person to have been awarded both a Nobel Prize for Literature, 1925, and an Oscar, 1938, for work on transcribing Pygmalion, adaptation of his play of the same name.
What's his name? What's she called? I think I know who that is.
So, do you think you know who that is? Don't ask the teacher. I haven't told the teacher who it is. Even your teacher has to try and guess this one. It's a tricky one. Now, let's have a garage sale, shall we?
Alan's mum was going to have a garage sale. They had far too much junk, she'd decided, and it was about time that they had a big sort out and got rid of some of it. If they made any money, Alan's mum said that they could use it to go on holiday. Alan was dead excited by this prospect. Mum said that they might earn enough to fly to Napier. This was where Alan's cousins, Sione and Joe, lived. Alan didn't get to see them very often, so the thought of a visit was a very good thought indeed. However, Alan and his mum had a lot of work to do before then. Alan and his mum began to sort out their old stuff to put in the garage sale. The idea was that you sorted out all your unwanted junk, laid it all out nicely in your garage, so you kind of turned your garage into a shop, put up a few signs down the street, and then waited for the people to come. The people to come and hopefully spend lots and lots of money. The benefits were twofold, Mum said. Firstly, you got to get rid of all your rubbish for free, and secondly, people got to buy some cool things at very cheap prices. Alan got to work. He went through his toy box first of all. There were lots of things that he hadn't played with for ages. Some he'd simply grown out of, some were out of fashion, and some he'd never played with in the first place. Alan had noticed that often people bought you things that you didn't even want. Surely it was better to let someone who did want them have them, rather than have them just sitting there gathering dust inside your toy box. Alan's mum was very impressed with the pile of toys that Alan had gathered. That trip to Napier was looking more and more likely. Alan's mum had been sorting out her wardrobe. She had lots of clothes that she no longer wore. Some of them were really nice, and Alan wondered why she didn't want to keep them. But Alan's mum said that some of them she hadn't worn for years. She reckoned that if you hadn't worn it within the last year, then you weren't likely to, and someone else should get the benefit. Besides, if their garage sale made enough money, then maybe Alan's mum could get some new clothes, as well as 2 plane tickets to Napier. Alan helped his mum hang all her unwanted stuff onto the portable clothes rack that they'd installed in the garage. Next, Alan and his mum had to go through the kitchen cupboards. This was a big job. It definitely needed 2 people. There were lots of things that they didn't need here. Unused pots, pans, tubs, mugs, glasses and crockery. Back when Alan's dad was around, they used these things a lot. They had lots of dinner parties and visitors, but since they'd moved to a smaller place, they didn't have the room to entertain on quite the same scale, and some of the stuff hadn't been taken out of its boxes for yonks. Alan's mum got a bit sad when she looked at some of their old things, but she decided it was better to have them being used than simply sitting there in boxes, and they could definitely do with the money. Alan's mum was strong, and her and Alan carried the old kitchen stuff out to the garage and arranged it nicely around the walls. Soon the day of the garage sale arrived. Alan and his mum got up extra early. There was still lots to do. It was Alan's job to make some really big signs to hang out on the street. Alan's mum had got him an extra thick black marker, which was perfect for the job, and they'd cut up some old cardboard boxes for the signs. Alan wrote very carefully in big thick letters, "Garage sale, 8 a.m, 16 Rimu Close." He and his mum drove around to strategic, easily viewed places, and they tied several signs to the lampposts with string. It was still only 7 a.m. Next, Alan and his mum priced all the items that were nicely arranged around the garage. At the last minute, they'd decided to get rid of Alan's old bike, plus his trampoline too. Alan's mum reckoned that they'd get a really good price for those. Alan and his mum carefully stuck little red stickers onto all the objects, and then, just as they were done, the first of their customers arrived. It was only 7:20 a.m. Alan and his mum worked really hard. Within 15 minutes, the garage at 16 Rimu Close was packed full of people waving $10 notes and grabbing at the things on sale. Alan's mum had a big jar for them to put the money into, and Alan and his mum were very busy serving people. By 9:15, the garage was completely empty, and all the people had gone. Alan's mum gave Alan a big hug, and they went inside to have a well-deserved cup of tea. As they drank their tea and ate some toast, Alan's mum counted the money in the big old jar. They'd made over $500. The trip to Napier was definitely on. Plus, they'd even have some money left over for a trip to the movies and some new things. Alan was stoked. The garage sale had been a huge success.
Slugs have 4 noses. Only female mosquitoes bite.
Zebras are really fast. They can run up to 105 kilometers per hour. They could outrun a lion.
My dog loves my cat. My dog loves my cat. My cat sure don't love my dog. My dog loves my cat. My dog loves my cat. My cat sure don't love my dog. When my dog in the middle of the night sees the cat, it's a terrible sight. The dog barks, gives the cat a fright, and it all ends up in a terrible fight, yeah. My dog loves my cat. My dog loves my cat. My cat sure don't love my dog. When the dog wants to share a bone, the cat wants to be left alone. My dog is accident prone, and I'm calling the vet on the telephone. My dog loves my cat. My dog loves my cat. My cat sure don't love my dog. When the cat's giving out a purr, the dog wants to lick its fur. The cat climbs up on a chair, and the dog is jumping here and there. And my dog loves my cat. My dog loves my cat. My cat sure don't love my dog. My dog loves my cat. My dog, it loves that cat. But my cat sure don't love my dog.
That's my lot for another week. I hope you enjoyed your week. Hope you're going to have a really cool weekend. I'll catch you again next week. Until then, ka kite anō.
That's the story that I wanna hear.